I'd like to introduce you to one of Superior Thread's latest products, the Superior Thread Holder. This is the Superior Thread Holder. It is made of acrylic, so it's very light, but yet very strong. It's non-slip because of the 4 non-slip pads on the bottom. Here's the thread pin. This is the arm, the thread arm that you can adjust to the height you need, and I'll be demonstrating that later. This is hole number 1, hole number 2, hole number 3, and hole number 4. One of the advantages of this particular thread holder is it can be used vertically as it shows, or it can be used horizontally for spools, as I will demonstrate later. You may ask, why do I even need a thread holder? I have a spool of thread, it fits on my sewing machine, and it works very well. So why would I even need one of these? If I was quilting a wall hanging, a 500-yard spool of thread is ample. But as I quilt, I'm not sure if I need 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4 spools of thread to complete my quilting. If I buy a cone of 2,000 yards, then I know I'll have enough to finish my project, and that's one less worry for me to have. So this is where the thread holder comes into play. I cannot fix this or put it on my regular sewing machine. It won't fit this way, it won't fit this way. But if I have a thread holder, I can place it right here, thread it through as I would normally, and then I'm able to sew. I'll show you how to thread these. When you take the Superior Thread Holder out of its packaging, you'll have the thread stand, a large spool cap, a small spool cap, a cone adapter, and a little bobbin adapting arm right here. I'd like to demonstrate how they work. To use any size cone, place the cone adapter on the stand, fits snugly. Put the cone on. That holds it snug, so it can be tipped and moved, and the cone doesn't go anywhere. The next trick, and it's kind of a trick for me right now because I'm sort of going blind, it's easier for me to thread it if I lay it down. Bring it up and pull it through. The arm should be upright to give it enough height to flow freely into your sewing machine. Now I'm going to place an omni cone on here. It's different than a king tut cone. The shape is different, the bottoms are different, but the omni cone will fit just fine. It stays snug, it stays smooth, it won't tip. Then again, I find it easier to thread it if it's laying down. I take it from here through hole number 3, through hole number 4, and it flows nicely. Now metallics. Metallics are one of those threads that have to be correctly taken off the spool the way the spool was designed. A cone is cross-wound, which means that it is wound in a cross pattern so that it easily flows over the top of the cone. It's easier to see on the king tut that it's cross-wound. Cross-wound spools need to be taken up over the top, and cones are the same. Now I have trouble threading metallic thread. It is a little wants to do its own thing type of thread, and I have a hard time trying to get it through the hole. So what I discovered was it is a floss threader for dental floss, and I use it as my needle. Hole number 3 and again hole number 4. And there's no extra tension or pull placed on this thread, so it will sew nicely and it will sew evenly. Sometimes with metallics, they tend to want to drop down to the bottom of the spool and become tangled. One way to avoid this is to use a thread net. Take the top of the thread, it needs to come through first, and you place the thread net on top, place it back on the stand. Again, using my trusty floss threader, through hole number 3, through hole number 4. Now it pulls through using the thread net. But what if my metallics are the 500-yard spool, and these are called stack wind or straight wind? It's wound around and around on top of each other, not in a crisscross style. Therefore, it needs to come off straight. We don't want to add any kinks or any twist to the thread. If we pull it up over the top, that starts to add a twist and a kink. And this is where the Superior Thread Holder has an advantage because we can put spools on here and rotate them. This is when I really like my floss threader. Through hole number 1 to hole number 4. Then we put the large spool cap on top to keep it from lifting up, but you don't want to put it, you want to make sure there's room in here for this to rotate. Then as you sew, the spool rotates. We put a lot of information on our thread caps. we put how many yards, what needle to use, and if there's any tension setting recommendation. And some people don't like to lose this information, so that's why we've designed these button caps that come off. You can keep them separate while using it. Then when you're finished using the thread, you just wind it around till it has a shorter tail. Put the short tail across the top. Put the button on, and your thread is secure. And if you don't like all those extra threads, just snip it. You know where the tail is for next time. Monopoly from Superior Threads is made of polyester. There's 2,200 yards on the spool, so you can tell that it's got a very, very fine thread to it, which is one of the problems with monofilament threads. They want to do what they want to do rather than behave as you would want. I thread through hole number 1, I thread back through hole number 2, up through hole number 3, and up to 4. After threading it through number 4, I place the large spool cap on, allowing it to rotate freely, but stopping it from jumping if it would jump. Then the spool rotates freely. The thread holder can also be used horizontally by laying it down, bringing the arm up, and this way the monofilament runs more smoothly. Here we have a spool of Nightlight. Nightlight is a glow-in-the-dark thread. It is kind of twisty. It sews beautifully, but I wanted to show you a demonstration here. We put on the small cap, enough to let it rotate. This is a cross-wound spool, so it should be able to go from here through hole number 3 into hole number 4, and it feeds smoothly. But if you'll notice, this is kind of a springy thread, so as it comes off, it wants to spring around. Thread like this can sometimes get caught between the thread cap and the spool or around this pin. And I'm sorry, but I think that's awfully annoying. But if we thread it a different way, as follows, taking it back through hole number 1 and bring it directly through hole number 4, we see that the spool rotates freely, and with a little bit of tension here, nothing to affect the stitch quality, but it rotates and it comes off a lot straighter and a lot more even. One last attachment that comes with the thread holder is a bobbin pin. It fits right in the hole number 1. Put your bobbin on it, bring it up, thread it through hole number 4, and then it rotates freely. Now I'll demonstrate where the thread stand and the thread holder sit in relationship to this machine. Thread it through hole number 3. Again through hole number 4. This arm creates a great angle so that when I thread my machine, it feeds evenly into the machine. Then I thread my machine as I would normally. It's not going to move, it's not going to go anywhere. And so as normal, and it should just feed nice and even into your machine. So now this is the Superior Thread stand, this is the Superior Thread holder. And the difference between them is cones can be used on either one. This is slick, this doesn't move, it has grip on the bottom. They both work really well with cones. Because the thread holder can be used with so many different spools as well as the cones, it becomes a wonderful addition to your sewing basket. And that's why at Superior we're very, very happy to introduce this product. You can buy it at your favorite quilt store. You buy it online at SuperiorThreads.com.